What a beautiful sight it is to see you all gathered here today on this occasion in this beautiful building. A little less than a year ago, we gathered out at the gates in front of the building to open the Jubilee Year of Mercy. And today we gather here in Ochre Court to bring to a close that Jubilee year. And it is my privilege and my honor to introduce our president, Sister Jane Garrity, who has a few words to say about the Jubilee year. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome everyone. You know, I thought to myself a little bit earlier, there are very few times in life where you know that the decision you have made is the absolute right one. Earlier, we had this set for outside with everybody in a human chain going to O'Hare. When we saw this weather, we thought, no, we're not going to do that. So that was a good decision, I think. Yeah, I walked over from O'Hare. The umbrella blew inside out. My hair was standing on end. I'm kind of a little person, so I was actually having trouble walking. Anyway, we're glad to be here in this warm place and with all of you. Freshmen, you weren't here, but as Dr. Zeman said, last year we opened the gates symbolically to usher in the Jubilee Year of Mercy. You know, as a Mercy institution, I think we felt particularly proud. It seemed as if this Year of Mercy was named for us. And throughout the year, actually, we proved that we were worthy of the name of mercy. We worked, we talked, we argued, we demonstrated, we prayed, and we practiced in so many ways my favorite definition of mercy, which is love in the face of need. That's what we practiced all year long. And during this year, we also developed a new strategic plan. Some of us worked a lot harder on it than others, but we were all proud of it, and the board was proud of it when they approved it. In this plan, we also developed a new vision. And in the new vision, we spoke of the world's need for a new kind of leadership. And I should say here, in terms of leadership, we're not talking about the person at the top. We're not talking about somebody who is appointed or elected. We're talking about all of us and the ways that we lead, each in our own lives, whether work with friends or family. Sometimes I think of that leadership as a kind of leadership of goodness. But the new leadership that we imagined had at its heart the notion of empathy. Empathy. And this, too, is something that I feel I need to at least put a sharp definition on. It's not feeling sorry for people. It's not sympathy in that way. It's not pitying. Empathy is seeing the world through the eyes of people who are suffering, who are vulnerable, who are marginalized. But think about it, folks. In some ways, we're all suffering. In some ways, we're all fragile and vulnerable. In some ways, we stand on some margin or other. And empathy stands with those of us who stand that way. We said in this vision that mercy not only stands with the other, but empowers him or her. So it's not looking down, it's about lifting up. So we opened the Year of Mercy and the symbolic gates on a dark evening in December. And when I look at the back of the pictures of those, it was also a cold evening. We're all bundled up. It's dark and it's cold, but there are lots of little points of light there. There are lots of candles that are there. You know, we end the year on another dark day. It's not cold, but with wild winds and rain. So you poets among us can do something with that particular symbol, wild winds and rain. We end the year on a dark day and on what many of us may feel is also a dark time for our country, for our community, a time when our community, many people in our community, are more fearful than hopeful. For many, it's a time when we realize the critical concerns of the Sisters of Mercy, and many of you who have heard of these in your classes and can name them, the critical concerns: women, immigration, racism, nonviolence, and the earth. Those are the 5. These critical concerns, we realize, are still concerns, are still critical. So for many, the year seems to have ended worse than it began. So to that I say, our work is not done. And thankfully, God's work with us is not done either. I think of that every day. I also say, never has there been a better time, as the vision says, to put empathy into action, to walk with others through all the challenges of our world. So now, even as we close out the extraordinary Jubilee year of mercy, my hope and my prayer, and actually I take this from the prayer that I offered at the opening, is that we'll never tire of extending mercy. May we be ever patient in offering compassion. May we draw on the loving power of God's mercy as we work to empower others. So welcome everybody today, and thank you.
A year ago, we walked up the driveway of Ochre Court, and as we walked, we sang as a group with one voice, "Hail, Holy Queen." We would like to do that again and encourage anyone who knows the words to this, our school hymn, to join in with us.
Thank you, choir, and thank you, all of you. It was interesting to me. Everybody knows the first verse. Your job is to work on learning the second verse. Now it really is my privilege to officially read to you the vision for Salve Regina that we have developed during this year of mercy. The world desperately needs a new kind of leadership, one predicated on a willingness of leaders to turn empathy into action, to walk with others through the challenges of our world, and to empower others. Mercy captures these characteristics of leadership. As a premier mercy institution, Salve Regina University offers an education that is built on the power of mercy to change the world. We challenge ourselves to achieve academic excellence through disciplined development of skills and knowledge, and to cultivate the spirit of mercy within ourselves, to see, to care, and to act for the good of others. Mercy empowers. Now what I'd like to do is give this plaque, which we will be putting in O'Hare, our newest building. We're now in our oldest building. We'll move to our newest building, which is a sign of the future. And speaking of signs of the future, I'd like to invite two of our freshmen, Karina and Penelope, to receive the plaque, and they will have the job of eventually taking it to O'Hare and putting it in its permanent place. And now Dr. Hennessy and Sister Marta will lead us in a litany.
Please.
We gather in anticipation of the closing of this extraordinary Jubilee year of mercy, a year that has focused on the practice of mercy and affirmed the tradition of mercy that is at the heart of the mission of Salve Regina University.
Throughout this year, the world has witnessed a focus on making mercy real through the practice of the works of mercy.
Feeding those who are hungry, giving drink to those who are thirsty, clothing those who are naked.
Forgiving those who have caused hurt, sheltering those who are homeless, visiting those who are sick.
Comforting those who are sorrowful, visiting those who are imprisoned, burying those who have died, caring for our common home through protecting the earth.
We turn our attention now to the challenges before us. We commit ourselves anew to learning about and living the critical concerns of the Sisters of Mercy, concerns that guide us to see, to think, and to act to uphold human dignity as we face injustice and hatred found at the roots of environmental degradation, immigration, racism, violence and oppression of women and other vulnerable persons. We ask that you respond to each of these critical concerns by proclaiming, "Because mercy empowers."
O God of mercy and compassion, we thank you for all of creation. We ask for your forgiveness when we have failed to protect the earth and seek your guidance in restoring its life, harmony, and beauty. May we strive for lifestyles that respect the importance of sustainability and the protection of the Earth's people and resources, because mercy empowers.
O God of mercy and compassion, we seek to educate ourselves and others about the underlying causes of migration in a world of war, hunger, and economic injustice. We ask your forgiveness for when we have failed to care about those who struggle to live amidst destruction and despair. Guide our efforts to end the misery of children separated from family by man-made borders, but not by love. Inspire us to stand with those who are forced to move from their homelands and seek economic and physical survival elsewhere. The Sisters of Mercy have accompanied immigrant people since 1843. We can do no less because mercy empowers.
O God of mercy and compassion, open our hearts to peace. We ask your forgiveness where we have failed to love our neighbor. Bless us with courage to embrace nonviolence in everyday lives. Bless us with vision to seek alternatives when violence appears as the only solution. Encourage us to look deeply at our own complicity that allows violence to continue in our own hearts, in our own world, because
mercy empowers.
O God of mercy and compassion, you invite us to recognize and reverence your divine image and likeness in our neighbor. We ask your forgiveness where we have failed to treat all persons with the dignity inherent to their humanity. Enable us to see the reality of racism and free us to challenge and uproot it from our society, our world, and ourselves. May our hearts and minds be open to celebrate similarities and differences among our sisters and brothers, because mercy empowers.
O God of mercy and compassion, help us stand side by side in solidarity with women throughout the world who suffer the pain of domestic abuse, the horror of war, the indignity of human trafficking, disrespect, and violence with little recourse of justice. We ask your forgiveness where we have failed to care for the women throughout the world who struggle and to maintain their dignity. May we learn from their examples of courage and hope to commit ourselves to changing the system and structures that oppress women throughout the world, because
mercy empowers.
O God of mercy and compassion, we ask your blessing on all gathered here today, our alumni and our university community. In keeping with the tradition of the Sisters of Mercy and recognizing that all people are stewards of creation, let us continue the work of Salve Regina University as we work for a world that is harmonious, just, and merciful, because mercy empowers.
Mercy does indeed empower. Thank you all so much for gathering here today as we bring this Jubilee Year of Mercy to a close. I want to wish you well in the remainder of the year and have a wonderful evening. Stay dry. Thank you.